Hello and welcome back to another video. I'm afraid today it's just going to be a desk job here. Been hoping to do a bit of shooting outside recently, but the weather's terrible. It's winter, it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon and it's just horrible. Straight to the products and have a chat about them, and I'll tell you what I think about them. So as you might have guessed from the title, today's video is actually going to be about tyre inflators. Now, there's a number of different options out there. I should have brought them up and we could have had a look at it. You could get your kind of foot pump, which you have to manually pump, or hand pump to pump your tyres up. You might even step up and get one of those kind of like booster packs with a 12-volt battery and some jump leads, and you kind of switch a switch and connect a pipe and you pump your car up. Or you might be quite a bit more advanced and actually have one of those kind of like digital controlled pumps that plug into the lighter socket and you can pump your tyres up like that. They usually have an auto stop. And there's actually some other ones on the market that look like drills. Yeah, they look like drills with a display in the end and your hose out the other end, and you can use something like that to pump your tyres up. But I was having a look online, you know, like you do at the imported equipment, the stuff with the brilliant manuals, and come across this sod. Here we go. It's quite a interesting size kind of batony thing here. So let's pop that down and have a closer look. So here we have an actual tyre inflator. It's quite a nice little design actually. This thing, what's it called? Let's have a look at the box here. It's called a wireless inflatable pump. I do believe there is a model name for it, and I'll pop that up here. It was about £25, maybe not quite that much, maybe 23 or £22. And what comes with it? Well, actually we get a 12-volt cable. That's for charging it up. We plug that in down here and plug it into our 12-volt and charge it. And it does actually contain some lithium-ion batteries inside, which will make sure it remains charged for a good period of time. The other way you can charge it is also, I don't know if you can see there, a USB port. Just your micro USB type B, is it? Or micro, not mini, it's a micro USB. Yeah, it also has a built-in torch at this end. So already quite feature rich. Now, I've actually gone ahead and used this one quite a bit, and I can confirm it is a quite well built bit of kit. You know, you can do this, it doesn't damage it, you can drop it if you want, it's fine. You recharge it, and you can definitely inflate 4 tyres from flat with this thing without the battery running flat. I think I did 4 tyres from flat, including 3 or 4 bike inner tubes as well. There's a considerable amount of power in there to pump up your tyres with. So let's have a little breakdown at this unit and have a closer look. And if this thing doesn't quite do the job for you, I've actually got a second pump to review, which is possibly better than this. I think it's much better than this. But we'll start with this one and I'll give you the ins and outs of this. As mentioned, out of the box came a USB cable for charging it off a USB port. We've got your 12-volt auxiliary line here. It's a good length of cable as well. I don't know whether it's intended to work while on charge. I'll test that out in a minute and we'll find out. The other thing it comes with is our standard kind of clip-on fitting for your standard tyre valves. Press that on there, lock it into place. You don't actually need to press it on quite firm. You'll hear some air escaping and then you clamp it on. The other end actually screws into the base of the pump there. So we screw that in, make sure it's done up nice and tight. And this is how we would inflate a tyre. If you want to inflate a ball or something like that, and I think there were some other adapters around. I don't know what I've done with them now, but there were definitely some adapters for kind of inflating lilos and stuff. You'll actually, I believe, have to try and screw that in direct into there, and it already feels like it doesn't want to take that, which is, I was expecting that to go in. Maybe you have to clamp it in here. Maybe that would work. Yeah, I think that's what you'd actually have to do then. You clamp it in this end, screw that in there, and then you could inflate a basketball or something like that. I have a feeling there were some more adapters, but I've lost them for now. I've had this thing a few weeks. But other than that, it's really good. So let's power it on, see what happens. So I do believe if I press the power button up here, it switches on. Now, one thing I did notice is the screen is a bit dim. You do kind of have to hold it at an angle to see it, but once you've got it at the angle, it's fine. Then what we need to do is press the little cog button here. If we press it, it kind of cycles down. It's in bar at the moment. If I hold it, it kind of zooms down quick and circles back around. So it will do anywhere between about 0.1 bar and I think that was 9 bar. Hopefully you can see that. So yeah, 0.2 bar and 10.3 bar. If that's not the scale you want, I believe you can change it again. How do we do that? So what we'll do is we keep pressing the power button, takes us through the different units. We have got PSI, bar, kilopascals and kilograms a meter squared, I think. And by choosing the appropriate one like PSI, we then press the cog button. That brings up, it doesn't do it for long, so you need to keep going. Press it once, brings up the settings. That goes 146, 147 PSI, I think maybe 150 PSI. And we can drop it all the way down to hopefully 1 PSI. About 3 PSI is the minimum. Okay, now once you've selected your appropriate PSI, generally about 40, anywhere between 30 and 45, 50 for a normal car. Do check your tyres and your instruction manuals there to figure out exactly what pressures you want. You don't want anything popping. And then once we've selected it, I think what we do is press and hold the power button and it turns off. So that wasn't the correct one. I have to try and remember how we actually turn this on and off. So once we're going, we press this button on the end. There we go. So there is a button on the end there. Press that on and off, no problem at all. Now when it pumps, it actually lights a light up. And the light goes out when it stops pumping. The other thing to note is that when you turn it off, so we'll turn this pump part off, the switch, I believe, now governs the light. So we do have a torch built in the end there. Saying that, it's not that bright. It's okay. It's definitely enough to see what you're doing on a pitch black night with no street lights around, but it's not exactly a beam or anything. And I think that's pretty much it on this particular pump. So yeah, nice design. Some of the downfalls of this design is it is a little bit fiddly figuring out how to set your PSI. You know, if you're in a bad weather, dark, cold night, it might be a bit of faffing about. The other disadvantage is the screen is slightly dim. You know, it could have a bit better contrast setting on there. The other thing I noticed when using it is, it says this in the manual, this fitting up here gets very hot. So if you're not careful and you go to unscrew that, it could definitely burn your fingers. Don't know why that is. I think just the friction of the air going through this fitting here is enough to make it very, very hot. That being said, it does do a very good job and it does pump up a tyre reasonably quickly. You know, it's not drastically slow. So what I'll do is I'll just... the other thing to mention is there is no bag or clip to hold these parts in. So you're going to have to look after these. Possibility of losing them, which would be a right pain. I guess you could keep it in the box. It would have been nice if there was some sort of plastic or fabric bag to keep it in. But that being said, there wasn't, and it's not really a problem. So all I did is actually 3D printed this little ring here. The idea being, I think it's a bit tight to go on, but the idea is that if I push it up here, which it will do, I could then clip in my air hose on the end there just to keep the two together. Okay, let's actually have a quick look at the specs according to the manual. There's the manual, and the specs are as follows. Right, as mentioned a moment ago, I did actually order 2 of these pumps, and when I ordered them off the online web auction places, they looked identical-ish, except a slightly different design. And what I didn't appreciate was the second one I ordered is actually significantly better than this one. So let's get that one out and compare that one. Right, so here we go. Let's have a gander at this. Box-wise, not far off, so nothing too surprising there. Slightly different design. This one's kind of oval. Let's go ahead and get this one out of the pack. Oh, okay, hopefully it's robust. Look at this thing. It is tiny. It's almost half the size of the other one, and actually it seems to be far better. The only negative thing I could say about this one is this one has a plastic case. There's no aluminium on it like this one. This one's quite robust, so questionable whether this one is as robust or not, but let's give it, yeah, it's fine, isn't it? You know, it's okay. It's made of plastic. Similar kind of effect to the other one. We've got a rubber hose here. It's not a clamp-on type, it's the screw-on type, which I think is a little bit better. What we do is we screw this end in here. We need to do it up fairly tight. Notice this one has a little silicone relief here, which is partly, I guess, to stop damage and also to stop you burning your fingers on it, which works really well. When I took this off after pumping 4 or 5 tyres with it, I didn't feel any heat on this unit at all. This one's pretty well put together. Let's turn it on and take a look. Well, actually, before we do that, let's just check what else is in the box. We've got our manual, and I haven't actually got into the bottom of this box yet, so this will be a surprise what's actually in here. I can't actually get in there. I'm going to have to rip the old thing apart. Okay. Oh, look at that. Look at this. This is so much better. And I think they were exactly the same price. So if you're going for one, I would personally go for this one. The unit comes with a little pouch. Really nice quality little pouch as well. It's quite a thick fabric, so it's definitely not going to tear straight away. Really, really nice. It also comes with the USB charger port. Luckily our cars both have several USB ports, so we can charge it on the go in any car. The downfall from this would be if you need it in an emergency and it's not charged, I don't think it will run straight off the USB port. You will need to plug it in for 15-20 minutes and charge it up, and then hopefully it'll have enough charge to actually pump a tyre up. Got no idea how long they take to charge, but if you were to look at the amp hour capacity rating of them and work out that you probably get half an amp to an amp off a USB port, that'll give you some indication of how long it will take to charge up. So yeah, nice. We've got our USB port here. I believe it did come with some adapters as well. It has, yeah, it's got all the adapters you can want for beach gear, beach balls, lilos. It's also got a reducer so you can pump up the smaller kind of bike tyres, and your basketball pump as well. There are your football connector. So real nice set of equipment there. Pop that in the bag. Let's turn it on and see how it goes. Well, now we've kind of compared it to this one. Let's get this one out the way. The plan was to let the missus have this one and for me to keep this one in the van. But I really like this one. I don't know what to do. I might have to kind of trick her into thinking this one's the better one so that I can keep this one. I don't know about that. Think about that. Okay, so let's turn it on. So this one we're going to press the power button. Oh, you need to press and hold it so it doesn't accidentally turn on. Little bar there, and it's on. And personally, I think this screen is much better. Really clear. We've got our current PSI there, which is obviously 0, and we have our preset PSI, which is 35. Now, how do we go about changing it? If I press the set, we can actually cycle through some defaults. So I've got like a custom setting at 100 PSI, my car's set at 38 PSI, motorbike at 40 PSI, bicycle at 35, and basketball at 5.5. And I do believe you can kind of set these. So let's change the basketball to Oh, I've changed it to bar there. I want to keep it in PSI for the moment. So we've reduced the basketball to 4 PSI, and if I hit set and cycle back through, I'm hoping it's still 4 PSI. It is, and if I power it down and power it back on again, hopefully it's remembered it has it. It's 4 PSI. So essentially you've got 4 or 5 things here you can set up a default value for, and if they're the things you commonly pump up, it will remember them, and it's very quick just to cycle through and choose the right setting for your car. If it's not the right setting, we just press the plus and the minus keys, and we can go up in 0.5 increments, which we couldn't do on the other one. They were going up in 1 PSI increments. And let's see what the maximum PSI is out of this one. Hold the button down. 55 PSI on this one, so it's nowhere near as high a pressure as the other one. I cannot confirm that the other unit will go to 150 PSI because I've got nothing that I can inflate to 150 PSI, but I certainly add it to 50 PSI and it worked fine. Same with this one. I think I went to 50 PSI on some of our, I forget what tyres, but we definitely went to 50 PSI and they worked fine. So user-wise, I think this one's a little bit more straightforward. You've got your presets there, and I'm sure I'll just set that to 50. Set that to 50, press set, and then it should remember it. Again, to launch this one or start inflating, we just press this power button quickly. Like so. And we can turn the torch on by pressing this ULED button. Press and hold it, I believe, and the LED comes on. This one is considerably brighter than the previous one. I don't think we'll even see the other one compared to this one. Let's turn them on. So, yeah, the other one is on, but you can't see it. So much better LED torch on there. The other thing that makes this one really appealing is that you can actually use it for a power bank as well. So it's actually got a USB port on the top here, and you can plug your phone in on that USB that you use to charge it, to charge your phone in an emergency. So really handy bit of kit, this one. Really like it and would highly recommend it. So I believe this one, the model number is... And if we have a quick look at the manual, which is here, I can confirm the specifications are as this. Let's now compare that specification to this specification. And the price is at the bottom. And there we go. We did plan to have a few shots of us pumping the tyres up. As I mentioned, it's dark outside, it's been pouring with rain. Trust me, they do pump. They really blow. So get one if you like pumping things up. That sounds a bit rude, doesn't it? Get one if you're a pumper. And don't forget, if you found this review in any way helpful, click that like button and subscribe if you want to see more. And if you've got any questions that you want to ask about these pumps, please do ask below. I'll be happy to reply to any questions about these, and I'll also probably post a comment down below in a year or so if there's any problems with them. So I'll give you some sort of report back on reliability. And yeah, I'm going to end up with this one in the van, and that one can be in the other half's car. Well, goodbye for now.